Well, everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the Apple Vision Pro and compare it against the PlayStation VR 2 and see which particular device is the better one for you. Now, I have no idea even what this comparison is going to entail because these two devices are very, very different. But one thing is for sure, these are both kind of AR, VR type of headsets, and I don't know if there's really even like any parallels between these two, but from a hardware perspective, there may be some things that maybe, we can kind of learn from. And if you're planning on, here's the thing. The PlayStation VR 2 will not work unless you have a PlayStation 5, but if you even buy the PlayStation VR 2 headset and you buy a PlayStation 5 and you buy like 10 games, that still probably wouldn't cost as much as the Apple Vision Pro headset. So that's just how big of a difference there is in terms of the pricing strategy between these two. The PlayStation VR 2, as of right now, if you wanted to go inside of a store and buy it, costs about $550 for just the headset. But you can also buy bundles and stuff that cost $600 and everything like that. The Apple Vision Pro, okay, this is crazy. The Apple Vision Pro headset basically costs, I think I spent almost like $3,800 on mine with tax. It was about $3,500, so $3,500 to buy the Apple Vision Pro headset. There's like a $3,000 difference between these two. But you have to keep in mind, these two are kind of going for completely different things. One is going for, like actually replicating your like workspace in your MacBook and using it on a Vision headset. The other one is basically like a console gaming experience that is basically only going to be used for like gaming type of activities. So from that perspective, you can kind of see the parallel here or like the differences, but that's a pretty big difference. I don't think a majority of people want to buying one or the other. I could see a lot of people possibly just buying both because both of them are very different type of, devices. Now on the outside, the PlayStation VR 2 headset I think is actually pretty nice. It feels pretty good in the hand. It doesn't feel super cheap, but it is pretty much built out of plastic for the most part, and it doesn't feel like the most expensive thing in the world, to be completely honest. So for one, you're basically getting the cameras around the VR headset itself, and they're pretty decent cameras. They look pretty good. They say within the displays itself, you are getting about a 4K resolution on each eye. So that's a pretty cool thing, and you can get up to 120 frames per second on the PlayStation VR 2 headset, which is actually a pretty cool thing. Now, with the Apple Vision Pro headset, this thing is a substantially more expensive feeling headset in every single way. This thing feels and looks like, it means business. It's a very expensive feeling device. And this thing is more like a Meta Quest Pro, I think like more of a competitor to that than something within the Apple ecosystem in my opinion. The thing I like about the Apple Vision Pro is that one, it has that display on the front, which I think is kind of like, it doesn't really even, I don't see why people would even keep it on. I think most people should probably keep it off to kind of, save battery, but it's a nice display to have. You have the buttons around it, you have the, Vision goggles so that you can kind of look through. And, they say it's like 23 million pixels. You can support refresh rates up to 100 hertz, which is funny because you're actually getting a higher refresh rate on the PlayStation VR 2 headset than for something like the Apple Vision Pro headset, which is kind of interesting. Beyond that though, you're basically getting, a much more better feeling and more premium feeling, headset on the Apple Vision Pro over something like the, PlayStation VR 2 headset. So from that particular perspective, if you're wanting the device that's going to be more expensive and, more expensive feeling for the most part, the Apple Vision Pro is going to be the one for you. But also when it comes down to the hardware itself, it's very different because one of them you have to have basically plugged in all the time to your PlayStation, 5, and the other one you basically almost always have to have it plugged into a battery pack. So neither one of these are like, the Apple Vision Pro is definitely more portable because you can actually go places and take it with you. But the PlayStation VR 2 headset, you'll almost always have to have it plugged in unless there's some workaround that you can probably hack into. Otherwise, you're pretty much, you have no other choice but to just, play it on your PlayStation 5. With the Apple Vision Pro headset, you can take it with you. But to call it like extremely portable, I think isn't the best way to call it either, because you do have to carry that, battery pack with you, which can be kind of an annoying thing for some people. Like if you're wanting to go ahead and actually use this thing on an everyday basis, you're going to have to go through and basically plug this thing in and like, carry this battery pack and like a wire with you. And then that battery only lasts like a couple hours. Like it's 2-hour battery. I don't know. That's kind of an annoying thing to be honest, but it is definitely more portable than the, PlayStation VR 2 headset. So keep that in mind, but it's kind of one thing to keep in mind there too. I will tell you though, between both, when it comes into the software side of things, they are substantially different. So this is probably where this comparison kind of ends off at because they're not even comparable beyond this. The PlayStation VR 2 headset is only used with your PlayStation 5 to play games inside of like an immersive experience. So there's lots of games that Sony and all these game developers have made that will actually go through and give you a really solid, experience from a software side. And that's something I actually like a lot. So if you're going through and playing all these games inside your PlayStation VR 2 headset, you're actually going to have a pretty good experience. And that's something I like a lot. It's probably one of the best experiences you can get on a VR headset from a gaming perspective, because you're playing like high quality, basically same graphics as the PlayStation 5 inside of your headset, which is so amazing. So this in and of itself is a very cool thing that I actually like a lot about that particular, device. The only issue that we're getting with the VR headset, with the PlayStation VR headset, is that beyond playing games, there's really not much else you can do with it. It's not really designed for you to go ahead and like use it as a computer or take it to school with you or connect to your other devices. It really is just a gaming console. That's basically what it is. It's a gaming console accessory. It's a gaming console extension. And that's the only thing that you should probably look at for when you're buying the PlayStation VR 2 headset. On the other side, with the Apple Vision Pro headset, this is a completely different beast. I think this is supposed to be, from what Apple's kind of stating, it's supposed to be like replacement of basically your MacBook, but not even like replacement. It's supposed to tie into your workflow. So basically, if you're like, if you're like a working professional and you want to go ahead and basically have a VR experience, I guess, then this is something that you could use it for, in my opinion. But I think Apple's tapping into a really different type of market with the Apple Vision Pro. I think people are going to buy it. I think it's going to sell well for the most part for now. But the problem with the Apple Vision Pro headset is its price. For $3,500, I don't think that thing is worth $3,500 at all. I think the Meta Quest Pro is barely worth what it's, worth either. But I think they're just tapping into a market which I don't know if they're necessarily tapping into the right market, where they're, in which people will buy this thing. I think businesses may use this thing. I think other people will use this thing too. But I think this is a very, very slow growth product. And I don't think many people will buy this thing because of its price tag. I think Apple probably should have done kind of something like a PlayStation VR 2 headset, not quite exactly just, only playing games, but making like a $600 headset and making it that you can use still like Vision OS and everything, but not necessarily having it at that price. I think that's the biggest turnoff for a lot of people, and that's probably the biggest issue when people are buying something like the Apple Vision Pro. That's $3,000 more than the PSVR 2 headset. Like, why would you buy that, to be honest? Then you could just buy a Meta Quest 2 or something like that. And there's nothing within the Vision headset that is so crazy or so cool or so unique to it that I haven't kind of already experienced on other headsets. Maybe the keyboard typing thing. Other than that, and I like the eye tracking thing too, it's pretty cool. But beyond that, it's been basically the same exact thing for the most part as even my Meta Quest 2. So what I will tell you is between both these devices, they are very, very different. One is basically just used for games. The other one is kind of an expensive experience. To be honest, I don't know if I know the PSVR 2 is definitely worth it if you like the experience. I don't know if the Apple Vision Pro is worth it for the money. I think the Vision Pro headset would be good if it was $1,000 or $2,000, maybe $2,000, more like $1,500. The fact that this thing costs more than good MacBook Pros doesn't make any sense for people to buy this thing. I think a MacBook Pro is much more functional than an Apple Vision Pro. I think it's cool novelty. They're going for different things. But I feel like when I think of an Apple Vision Pro, I think of a MacBook. When I think of a PSVR 2 headset, I think of a PlayStation, like a gaming console, like Game Time. That's what I think of. So take it as you will, but I think that's how both these devices kind of compare from that particular perspective. So that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.